This is episode 4 of the Khaos Kismet podcast. I'm Samantha, this is Lilith, and it is so cold. You've got me in my my fluffy Mickey today and fingerless gloves because it is so cold today. Oh, the winter was meant to be gone. No, it's decided, it's back. It's going to come back for another week. We're supposed to be getting more snow, which I don't want at all. It's March, it's supposed to be spring. I don't want snow. Oh dear. Anyway, this is not a weather podcast. This is a mostly crochet with some other bits podcast. And I am going to try a new thing this week. I am going to try and actually insert pictures instead of messing around. Does anybody else's dog do this? She's just got like a death grip because she wants attention. Yeah, this week I'm going to attempt while I'm editing to put pictures in. It can't be that hard. I've seen lots and lots and lots of people doing it. So I'm going to learn to put pictures in rather than messing around with my tablet and trying to like get pictures that glare on them and things. I'm actually going to try this week to insert pictures while I'm editing. Because I'm editing anyway, so I'm saying I'm editing. I'm putting a beginning and an end on. And are you going to lie down? She's very needy today. So yeah, let's get on with it. What have we got today? I've got some finished objects that I don't actually have with me. We had World Book Day this week, and if you're in the UK and you have children, you know how much fun World Book Day is. So after a little bit of discussion, we settled on my 10-year-old wanted to be Tanjiro Kamado, who's a character from, it is an anime but it's also manga, it's Demon Slayer. So I made him an outfit for that, and it's like a green and black checked thing. I'm going to try and put a picture in over here somewhere of the children. So I made him the coat and I made him like a cowl to go with it, and my 8-year-old wanted to be a necromancer from Illidan. As I think I've mentioned before, we're very big on World of Warcraft, and Illidan's one of the main characters in it. He's like an anti-hero going throughout the years, and in one of his books there are necromancers, so he wanted to be a necromancer. So for him, we mostly had an outfit there, and for him I made him a hood, and I made him to carry around a little skull. He's got a plastic skull, and I made him a little crochet bag to carry that around him. So they both loved it, they both enjoyed it. All their friends were suitably impressed with their costumes, because I think it's not just my kids, I think all kids are like this. You grow up and you see your parents doing certain things. Like, for example, their dad's a carpenter, but he can build pretty much anything. He could build almost an entire house. And I think all kids think that what their parents can do isn't actually that special, and that all parents can do it until they reach a certain age. And then they realise that's not the case. And this week my children realised that that is not the case, because they expected everybody to turn up for World Book Day in costumes that their parents had at least made part of it. And a lot of the kids turned up in like pyjamas and onesies and things, which is fine. But my 10-year-old come back and went, yeah, I'm quite lucky that my mum can do stuff. I'm like, yes you are. So that was, I really hope I can get the picture in, because otherwise none of this is going to make sense. So yeah, World Book Day this week. So that's taken up a bit of time. And other than that, I only have some very, very small finishes. We have, and I'm aware that it's end of February when I made this, going into the beginning of March. It's pumpkin. I had this ball, it wasn't even a full ball, it was like a part ball of this orange, and I'd had it out because one of the kids wanted me to make them a squirrel, which he wanted in this colour. Unfortunately, because this is chunky and this is all I had of it, that there wasn't enough. So this ball was out anyway, and I thought, that's a lovely pumpkin colour. And so I decided to randomly make a pumpkin. I didn't use any particular pattern for it. I just chained however many and then just back loop single crochets until it was long enough, and then just cinched the top, cinched the bottom, and added little twizzles. And these are just, you chain along and then you single crochet 2 single crochets into each chain on the way back, and then it gives it a little twirl. And that's just a cinnamon stick, which I've not even glued in, but it's cute and I like it. And somebody said to me on Instagram, well, at least it means that you're ahead on your autumn decor. Well, she said fall decor, so she must be from the US. This is a thing, I've always wondered this. If anybody's watching from the US, it gets referred to by some people as fall and some people as autumn. So is that like a regional thing? Does it depend on where in the US you are, whether you call it fall or whether you call it autumn? Because I hear it both in equal amounts from different people all over the place. So yeah, well, we call it autumn here, but pumpkin. I can't even remember what hook I used. I think I used like 4.5 out of 5 maybe, 4.5, 5mm. I'll just put the pumpkin down on top of my notes. I've got notes this week. You wouldn't think of it with all the rambling that I'm doing, but I do actually have notes. Oh dear. Right. So what else have we got? Pumpkin, kids costume. Right. Other finishes. Tiny little finish. It looks tiny, but there's quite a lot of stitches in this. My little pusheen cross stitch. And this one is from this little kit. You can buy these on Amazon. I got mine in the sale. It was about £4 or £5. I think they're only normally about £6 though. And you get this little book. It comes with everything that you need in it. I think I showed you last time. It comes with 3 of these little squares of Ada, and that's one of the other patterns with a little donut. See, that's the one that I did. And that's the other one. Oh my god, I'm covering up the picture and showing you the pattern. Oh dear. It's one of those days. So, what I'm going to do with them is I'm going to do all 3 and then put them together in a wall hanging. I don't know if I'm going to put them along the way or if I'm going to put them like down the way. I'll need to see. I'll probably put them down the way if it's going to be a wall hanging though, just because it'll be quite wide, and if I do it as a quilted wall hanging it might sit a bit funny. But that's the plan for these for the moment, is to display them all together because they're quite small and I think they're too small just to hang up on their own. I don't know, they might not be. So yes, that is my cross stitch finish for the week. I don't get many cross stitch finishes because I don't get a lot of time to actually cross stitch. Let's see, what else do we have? We have one more finished object. You see my notebook, by the way? This is lovely. It's an Anne Stokes one. I really like Anne Stokes. I have a couple of favourite like modern artists, and Anne Stokes is one of them. I have another Anne Stokes things actually that's going to be in my future plans that I completely forgot to take down. So yeah, I think I showed you the start of this last week. It is a little cactus bag. So this was a test that I was doing for what's the name? Sarah Basnett. No, that's the wrong person. Leanne Douglas. Leanne Douglas, who has a blog called Wildflower Acres, and she has lots and lots of little patterns on there. I'd never seen her blog before. It just happens to be because I was testing for her that I came across it. But it's just a little thing there. And this contains one of my whips, because I've discovered that it's the perfect size to hold 100-gram cake. So I've been using it for this, one of my whips, which I will show you in a second. It's supposed to have a couple of flowers on it, and the flowers are supposed to have beads in them, but I thought I'm just using this for me, and I didn't want beads, especially because the flower just kind of curls up there. But it's a super easy pattern, and it's cute, it's lovely. And you could of course make the straps a bit longer. The straps are quite short, but you could make the straps any length that you wanted. This is done with 2 straps and then you tie them at the top. But it would be a little short on me, but then it's too long just to carry it like that, so I don't know. But like I say, nice easy pattern to do. I use Drops I Love This Cotton, no, Drops I Love You 7, which I do believe is discontinued now. I have no idea what the colour is. I can't remember, I've put all the stuff away for it now and I can't remember the colour. So yeah, and this was just like a little scrap of the same thing in a pink colour. Alright, so that is all of my finishes. Oh, well, almost all. I made this. We were sitting, we were watching a film, and I tend to like to have ice in my drinks. I don't today, but usually I have ice in my drinks, and the glass gets condensation on it and it runs down and it goes. I do have like a mat for it to sit on, but then when I hold it, my hand gets cold and my hand gets wet, and if I'm sitting doing stuff, I don't really want that. So I just made this little glass cozy. It's literally, I just chained a little bit smaller than the width of the glass, and then just did half double crochet until I thought it was big enough for me to hold it in my hand like that, and that's it. And it fits this glass and it fits the pint glasses as well. This is, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. No, it says Princess Samantha. It's got engraved on it. This was a gift a couple of years ago. And I am drinking peach and mango, and it's yummy. Ooh. My cozy just fell off. Okay, so yeah, that's actually all my finishes now. Alright, on to whips. So we'll start off with this one because this happens to be in the bag. This is the yarn that I had left over from my electric squeeze tee, which has now been released. You can find it on Ravelry. And this was what I had left over for it, so it was just under 100 grams. So I wanted something just nice and mindless and easy. And if you have been crocheting for any length of time, you will probably recognise this pattern. This is a virus shawl. It was quite fun. I remember when I first found this pattern and I looked at it and it was all like, and this was years ago, and I think the write-up for it said something like, nobody knows how this pattern came into existence, and it was all like surrounded by all this mystery and crochet lore. So nobody knows who invented the pattern. It's been around for a while, but this is my go-to kind of shawl pattern when I want to make something that looks fancy, that I don't really have to think about because I've made so many of them. I've sold so many of these on Etsy. It's probably one of the most popular things I've ever sold on there, that make them in all different sizes, colours, yarn weights. This particular one I'm doing, this is fingering 4-ply. It's Cascade Heritage in lilac, and I'm using a 4mm hook, and it's just going to make it nice and light and drapey. But you can use any yarn and hook combo that you want, and it always turns out really, really nice. So I'm just going to go with this until that's finished, and it should give a decent sized shawl. So yeah, that's whip number 1. That's my, when I'm just sitting there and I just want to work on something without really having to think about it too much. The hook that I'm using for it is this one, my Omni hooks. It's an ebony one. And these, I think I've spoken about these before. They're nice. And in the UK, it is really, really difficult to get hold of furls. So trying out in these first and then moving on to furls, or just trying out these and sticking with these. You know, they're worth getting. I think they're about £9 on Amazon, which is the only place I've seen them, but I haven't particularly looked for them anywhere else because I literally buy my entire life on Amazon these days. Oh, see, not having a car drives me mental. I'm used to having a car and being able to like go around and shop around for things, and now I don't have a car, so I have to get everything online because I'm too far away from things and I can't get on public transport because I have an absolute meltdown. Dear. Yes. Anyway, enough of me and my mental problems. On to the next thing. I have 2 things here that are still whips that really should have been finished. First one is this little guy, who you can't see because I'm wearing a red top. There you go. And I've done this one using the dragon shawl that I made. No, not dragon shawl, the dragon hood, the black one with the red in it. This is the leftover from that. It's Paint Box Aran. It's 100% acrylic, and I decided I've got all these patterns on my Ravelry, so I've decided to start working my way through them, and this is the first one on that list. It will be a little devil, and it is called the Little Red Devil. This one is actually by Sarah Basnett, who is Tales of Twisted Fibres. My dog just fell off the windowsill. You okay, Lou? That was graceful. Oh dear. Right, no, don't. Ah, don't knock the camera. Good girl. Oh dear. So, just made this 2 pattern. This isn't stitched on yet. She needs to get some hair coming down there. But I think rather than, it's meant to be embroidered hair, and then the hat goes on top like this, and the hat will have little horns, and she'll have a little devil tail. But I think instead of doing the embroidered hair, I'm going to just loop some in around there and give her little black curls. I think that'll be cute. And the skin tone that I've used is Stylecraft Special Aran in Parchment, which is a kind of tan colour. I think it's a nice skin colour because it's not too white. There's no like hints of pink in it at all. It's not too light, not too dark. It's just a nice skin colour. So yeah, there's that little devil. That should be finished by next week, I would hope. I said it should have been finished today, and it's got a little belly patch to go on as well. Should have been finished by today, but I don't know where the week's gone. You know, it's gone really, really quickly, and I don't know if it's because I've been doing different things this week, like with the whole World Book Day, and I've had like just some personal stuff to take care of. But yeah, the week has gone so quickly. I was very surprised to find out that it was Friday today, and I was like, oh dear. Right, what else have we got? So I was thinking I didn't really have much, because I didn't think I'd done very much this week, but I do have a few things. I think I have 3 more things to show you, 3 more rips. So do you remember last week how I was like, my plans for this week, what will I do? Oh, I'll just finish that hex cardigan. No. I did, however, work on it. Let's see, if I fold this. Right, so as you can see, it's not far off. This is 2 balls in, so I think I'm probably going to do 3. I've got 10 altogether. No, I don't. I've got 8. Yeah, I've got 8, I think, maybe 9 altogether. So if I do 3 balls for this, 3 balls for the other half, then that leaves me to possibly 3, because apparently I can't count anymore, balls to do like a collar and the cuffs and the ribs, the ribbing around the bottom. So my hair, I've just washed my hair this morning and it's just doing all sorts of weirdness now, and it's annoying me. I'm trying to not mess with it. I'm sorry if it's annoying. It's annoying me. So yeah, this is Wendy with Wool DK. I have no idea what the colour is because I don't have a ball band on the current ball that I'm using, but it's lovely. It's nice and soft. Sometimes you get them and they've got wool content in them and they can be quite scratchy or quite rough, or you get acrylic and it's quite scratchy and quite rough. But this is really nice and soft. So not my normal colour palette, but I think I can live with it. It's not a terrible colour. So yes, that will, I'm not saying it'll be finished by next week, but I will have certainly made some more progress on it by next week. I don't know why I thought I could get that done. But I say I'm using a DK yarn with that, and I'm using a 6mm hook. Ooh, is that going to focus? No, maybe, I don't know. 6mm hook for that one. These hooks are quite good actually. I've had these for a really long time. I don't know if they make them. They come in this little case and they're from Drops. I got these and I got some knitting needles as well from them like years ago. The knitting needles I'm not too keen on because they're metal, and I've discovered over the years I actually prefer wooden knitting needles. Crochet hooks, I like wooden crochet hooks, but because I make amigurumi and sometimes I use like my favourite amigurumi hook is a 2.5mm, but sometimes I'll use a 2 or a 1.5 or a 175, and you just can't get them in wood because they would just snap, especially because you have to do tight stitches. So yeah, but I need to have a chunky handle because otherwise my hands cramp up and it's really sore. So, oh, these are my just like everyday gloves. I use them for going out walking the dogs and things, and I need to make some new ones. I was just actually saying to Mother Half this morning, I'm going to knit myself some gaming gloves, because when I'm sitting at the PC my hands get very cold, and then when you're trying to do things, this is me and my PC, when you're trying to do things, when you're gaming you have to have like pretty good reaction times, and if my hands are really cold and stiff I struggle a bit. So fingerless gloves, but I'm going to make some knitted ones I think. These were just, this is West Yorkshire Spinners, I think it's Carnival, I think it's called Carnival, and this was just some that I had left over from making a pair of socks, and I literally just made a corner to corner square, folded it in half, and then I did not break the yarn at all. I just folded it in half and went round there. I've done one end with some little shells, words, sorry, with some little shells, and then I've just single crocheted up here, single crocheted round the thumb hole, finished up the top, and then single crocheted around the top. I will always find a way to not have to weave in ends if I can, because weaving in ends is not my favourite thing to do. I have a blanket on my bed, and it's like a full pink and grey one. Still haven't woven the ends in on that, and I think I made that about 3 years ago. Still haven't woven the ends in yet. Because it's on my bed, the way that my brain is, if something is not in front of me, I tend to forget that it exists, which is why I have to write everything down. So I go up to bed and I see it and I think, I should really sew the ends in on that. And I get up in the morning and I think, I should really sew the ends in on that. And then I leave the bedroom and it just doesn't exist anymore. It's terrible, honestly. It drives me mental that my brain is like that. But it's my brain, it's the only one I've got, so you have to learn to deal with these things. Talking of being in bed, I have actually done a little bit. I've done a little bit on the giant sock. These are socks that I'm making for my partner with his humongous feet. Look at the size of them. And I've managed to finish off doing the foot eventually. I've turned the heel. These come in 50-gram balls. This is... I'm not even going to attempt to say that. But it's Regia. And I think I showed these before. I'm pretty sure I showed these on maybe like my first podcast or my second one. So, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to work the rest of this into the foot, into the leg, and then see how they go, because he only ever wears boots. He's like a jeans and boots kind of guy. He never wears trainers or anything like that. He's like strictly jeans and boots. So yeah, I think having a longer leg on them would be better for wearing under his boots. It's quite nice though. I mean, I'm not usually into green. Can you see that? Oh god, they look... I swear they're not dirty. I know they look a bit dirty in there. But it's a dark green and it's got little brown flecks in it. They don't look dirty when you're just looking at them. I promise they're not. So, yeah, they've turned into my lying in bed knitting. So, yeah. And can I say so any more times today? Just working them. They're 64 stitch, just plain vanilla socks with a fish lips kiss heel. And my little 2.5 mil needles, my little symphonies, my little thing from Pickle Lily, my little DPN holder, and they live in this bag, which I think is meant to be a makeup bag. It was one of those, I grabbed it out of Sainsbury's. It's quite nice to look. It's a woven, I don't know. I just thought it was quite cool. So I picked that up ages ago in Sainsbury's when I was passing. So yeah, the only thing I have left to show you now is my 100-day project, which I absolutely keep forgetting to take pictures of. Oh dear. It's loose in the hoop just now because I've not worked on it today. But look, she's got arms. I don't know if that's not helped at all whatsoever. But this is what I've worked on. It's this section then here. So that's coming along quite nicely. I need to remember to take pictures of it though. Again, I'll try and put a picture in of what it will look like up here somewhere. If I can, everything that I'm speaking about, I'm going to try and remember to put pictures in. No, I'm not going to try and remember. I'm going to try and work out how to put pictures in. and hope that I manage to get them all in, because otherwise quite a lot of what I've been showing you, you're just going to be like, sorry. Right, and that is it. I feel like I've not, 30 minutes. I was going to say, I feel like I've not really spoken much today or showed much, but 30 minutes. I feel like I've sort of rushed a little bit today. I don't know what's wrong with me at the minute. My brain's been a little bit, and I can't remember what I've spoken about and what I haven't. Right, let me have a look. I'll check my list. So we've done the Hex with the socks, Alice, virus shawl, showed you the pumpkin, kids costumes, cactus bag, my pusheen, and my little devil. Yeah, that's it. So what else have I been doing this week? I normally watch a lot of movies and things, but this week I've been catching up on podcasts. The only movie type thing that I did watch is the original It, which is the one that's split into 2 parts with Tim Curry in it. I love Tim Curry. I don't know, he just makes me smile in everything that he's ever in. Yeah, so I watched It, which I haven't watched for a really long time. I'm a bit kind of funny with things that I like to watch, because there's a lot of films that have got things in them that I can't watch because it just stresses me out too much. So it's a bit of a process for me to try and watch a movie sometimes. Horror ones, I only like particular types of horror. Normally, I'm not into clowns. I don't like clowns. But I'm trying to get over things that I'm not too keen on. So I thought I'll watch that, because I've watched that before as well when I was little, because I was an 80s kid, and you know, boundaries and rules didn't really exist then. It was, you're big enough to switch on the telly, you're big enough to watch what's on it. So yeah, watched that. What else we've watched? Willow. I know we're a little bit behind, but we eventually finished off watching Willow on Disney Plus, I think that's on. That's something that me and my partner watched together. I don't know what to think of it. I really don't. It was okay. Some of the acting was a little dubious. The plot was a little thin. But I suppose it was okay. It wasn't terrible, but I wasn't like, oh yes, that was amazing, let's watch that again. So yeah, I've also started watching Riverdale, which I know I'm like years behind on watching that. I never thought it was my sort of thing, and the reason I started watching it is because I didn't realise at the time that it's set in the same universe as Sabrina, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, and it's set in the next town over, which I didn't know. And then I found that out, so I started watching that, and it's not at all Sabrina-ish, but it's strangely compelling, and I am quite enjoying it. So that's my little TV watching. I've also been watching Cobra Kai, just because there's going to be a new season of Cobra Kai, so I'm just catching up on the last little bit that I hadn't watched from before. Let's see, what else I've been watching. That's it for watching. Other than that, just podcasts. I've been trying to catch up on all my podcasts, which I think I'm almost done with now. I can't list everybody that I've been watching because there's been so many of them. But what I've been trying to do is watch more like UK podcasts, because as much as I love watching podcasts from other countries, it's a little frustrating sometimes because we can't get the same things here. So I've been trying to look more for like UK podcasts. So if there's any that you know of with any sort of crafting that do just normal podcasts, then if you pop them down below and I'll go and give them a look. Anything to do with mostly crochet but knitting, sewing, anything, any kind of crafty type podcasts based in the UK, I'll give them a wee watch. Yeah, so the only other thing, I've been trying to read a bit more. I don't know if I mentioned, I keep notes of everything, and one of the things, I have a notebook where I keep track of all the books that I've read, and the last couple of years have been quite pitiful. Like, I'm embarrassed to say how few books I read over the last couple of years. It's been a pretty stressful couple of years, so I haven't really had the time or the brain space for it. But now, I'm trying to get back into reading again. So, at the moment I have a physical book, an audio book, and a Kindle book on the go. Which, I know some people can't do that, and I know my other half's like, how can you be reading 3 books at once and still follow all the stories? I don't know, I just can. I just, yeah, I don't find it difficult. That's just the way that my brain works. Your brain works differently, that's fine. I also have somewhere in the region of like 80 whips, and I know that some people have one, or they only have a couple. Everybody's brain works different. So currently I am listening to Sandman 2 on Audible, which is really good, but really weird. I'm assuming it's like lots of little stories, and I'm assuming it's all going to wrap up together at some point. I'm not sure. I never read the first one. I watched it on Netflix, and it was really good. It's Neil Gaiman, if you didn't know, if you've not seen it. Yeah, it's good. I think it's a little confusing because it jumps around, but I've been enjoying it, and the narration on it is really good as well. That makes a world of difference. I listened to an audiobook before that, which was called The Druids by Jeff Wheeler, and even though the story for that was quite good, the narration wasn't, so it kind of took away a little bit of the fun for it. It made it not quite so good to listen to. But what I've started doing is I've been going to bed a little bit earlier every night and lying in bed and doing a bit of knitting and listening to my audiobook for a bit. And yeah, that's my new little bedtime routine I've been doing, so that I can get a little bit more reading in. And my physical book that I'm reading, which as you can see I have barely started, is this one. And if you have any kind of love for vampires, you'll know who this is. This is Khaos. My ex actually bought me these for Christmas. It's a trilogy, the original trilogy, and this one is set. It starts off quite a long time ago. It starts off in the American Civil War, just giving you a bit of background, but I'm not too far into it yet, so I don't really know what the entire book's going to be around. But this is the Originals TV series, which is a spin-off from the Vampire Diaries, which there are also Vampire Diaries books, but I haven't read them, and I prefer the originals to Vampire Diaries. I'm sorry. Originals is better. I have a bit of an Elijah thing. So yeah, started reading that. It's pretty good, pretty easy reading. Look at the size of the print in it. That shouldn't take me too long to read. It's just the problem that I've had with reading a physical book is that you have to sit down and you have to hold the physical book and turn the pages, and you can't crochet or anything while you're doing it. So I have to actually set aside time to do that, which is why this one is barely started. And the one that I'm reading on my Kindle, it's not on my Kindle, it's on my phone. I have the Kindle app. I have a Kindle, but I don't actually use it. I have the Kindle app on my phone, which I use more because if I'm out, like when I'm waiting on the kids coming out of school, I will stand and I will just like read on my Kindle app on my phone. and that way I get a little bit of reading done more often. So the one I'm reading on that is The Earl of Brass by Cora Jorgensen, and I'm about 20% into that, I think. It's not bad. It's a steampunky type of thing. So it's set sort of during Victorian times, but it's set during Victorian times, and it's not really too like out there as far as steampunky stuff goes. And I've not really got into like the meat of it yet, but we've got like the male protagonist and the female protagonist, and it's just sort of building up to their stories at the minute, and they've kind of just started to cross paths, so we'll see where that goes. But so far it's been pretty good. It's been quite entertaining. Again, Kindle, I have so many Kindle books. What I've decided to do as well is, before I was buying like my craft books, I was buying them as physical books, and my novels I would buy on my Kindle, with very few exceptions. I do have quite a lot of physical books as well, but if it's just going to be something I'm going to read once and never read again, I'll buy it on Kindle. The ones that I have physical copies of tend to be things like my Anne Rice collection, my Terry Pratchett collection, things like that. Things that I have, like my favourite authors. So I was having a look, and it turns out that a lot of the craft books as well, you can buy them on Kindle. No, Lil, you're too big for that. She's trying to climb under the tripod. Come here. Come on, you want to come see the people? Yes. Look. Right, you can't put your face in front of me though. Yeah, so it turns out that a lot of them I can get on Kindle as well, and hi. So I've decided that if I can get my craft books on there, with things like sewing ones and embroidery ones, not so much, because I need to be able to get the patterns off them. But crochet ones, knitting ones, anything like that, I'm going to try and just like get them on the Kindle, I think. It makes life a lot easier. I don't know how they do the prices for the Kindle. Some of them seem to be massively cheaper, some of them are not. Some of them are more or less the same price. But it means that when I go to move house, I have less things to pack. It means I have less things sitting around in the house, and it means that it's a bit more portable for me as well. And I don't need to go like looking for the book and finding the book and having the book sitting around. I can just look it up on my phone and take the pattern off there. Hi. Oh dear. Oh, just licked my nose. Disgusting child. Oh, look at her wee face. This is what a needy dog looks like. Oh dear. And on that note, I think that is everything. I think I feel like I've just rambled a lot. I'm sorry. Oh gosh, yes, we're at 44 minutes and I have waffled and I've hardly had anything to show you. So hopefully I will work out how to put the pictures in, so you can see all of the pictures and know what I've been talking about. And yeah, until next week, where hopefully I will look less of a mess. I'm sorry, but it's so cold. I had to put this on because it was like really, really cold. Still haven't decided what to do with my hair yet, as you can see. My partner thinks that I should just grow it out and then dye the whole lot silver. But I don't know. I'm not sure that'd be a good look for me. So yeah, that's us, I think, and I will see you next week. Until then, have a good week, enjoy, and yeah, I'll see you next week.